Of all the saltiest individuals in the world, Linnet's new boss, Cyrene, was perhaps the most salty. Yes, it was true that her first mission with the company was a failure, but at least she and Alfredo returned with some Anam energy. And those stupid magical boys were incredibly powerful. Without any prior knowledge about them, how was Linnet supposed to prepare for that? One of them hurled lightning, another shot pressurized water, and the last, he could turn invisible. Despite the immense strength of their adversaries, and how often they bested the Nymphians, both Alfreda and Linnet received a nasty tongue lashing from their commander. Had Alfreda not warned her about the imminent abuse prior to their debriefing meeting, Linnet might have broken down and resigned. Still, it didn't matter, and both she and Alfreda got in major trouble. Today, when Linnet went to try and meet with Cyrene for her new assignment, her receptionist, a Nymphian named Valaxia, simply handed Linnet a folder with a sticky note taped to the front of the folder. It said in messy handwriting, "Here's your mission briefing. Don't fail this time." Linnet walked away from the commander's office while a flood of vile and unwelcomed acid pooled up through her stomach, and it saturated the entryways to her lungs. The stinging pain of shame nipped at her. She sighed and then looked back down at the folder. At least this time, her stupid boss gave her the mission briefing before the actual mission. Since she was still in training, Linnet was supposed to work with another operative, someone named Nixie. The plan was actually quite interesting. Use the humans' love of phone apps against them. Linnet walked along and opened the folder again, reviewing information related to the proposed plan that this Nixie person suggested. The plan was good, although it was simple and not as thoroughly detailed as what Alfreda had done during her mission. For starters, there weren't any contingency plans listed for if the Sparkle Guardians showed up. Well, when they showed up.
So, you must be the newbie, huh? I hope you're not a busybody like Alfreda. This Citadel only needs one of her.
Linnet stopped and glanced up from the folder. Another Nymphian had walked up beside her as Linnet was casually strolling toward R&D. This Nymphian was slightly shorter than Linnet and had an average body type. She had medium-length black hair that fell to her chin. A pair of unenthused, sky blue eyes met with Linnet's. Her attire consisted of a pair of plum-colored slacks, a pair of chocolate-colored loafers, a lilac long-sleeved shirt, and a matching plum-colored vest. The Nymphian's hands were in her pockets.
I'm sorry, were you talking to me? Wait, are you by chance Nixie?
Yep. Guilty as charged. And I suppose you're Linnet. Alfredo mentioned you and said you had potential. Well, we'll see, I guess. Is that the mission briefing? Mind if I take a peek?
Linnet passed Nixie the briefing, and then the shorter Nymphian started walking again. Linnet kept pace with her, but she made sure to stare ahead, rather than at Nixie. After a few moments, Nixie's face contorted slightly.
She only gave us funding for one kiosk. I specifically asked for multiple locations in case those sparkle dorks showed up. That cow.
So you wanted to have multiple kiosks?
Yeah, I did. Those magical boys always show up, and they always ruin things. She didn't even spring for some henchwomen security. It's just us.
Nixie pulled a slender item from her pocket, and then she brought it to her lips. After a quick inhale, Nixie lowered the device and then blew out a lime green-colored cloud of smoke. It had a slightly delightful green apple scent.
Oh. sorry. This stuff calms me down. Especially when our self-esteemed boss makes stupid-ass decisions like this. It's only vape smoke. Does that bother you?
Oh, no, it doesn't. I'm not asthmatic or anything.
Okay, good. Because I vape a lot. Not only does it melt my stress away, but it also has to do with my magic.
It does? Really? I've never heard of, vape magic before.
Yep, I'm a vape magician. You'll get to see some of my work later, but I don't really want to go into it right now. I sure hope R&D is ready with the tech.
Me too. I look forward to working with you.
Okay, listen. I'm not trying to sound like a bitch, but dial it back with the enthusiasm. Other operatives may be more receptive to that sort of thing, but it drives me nuts. We're gonna do a mission and then we're going to come home. No big deal, okay?
Oh, right. I, totally feel you. I can be more chill.
Nixie let out another sigh before she took another drag on her vape pen, and then spewed out another cloud of green apple mist. Nixie and Linnet walked into R&D and gazed over the balcony railing. Nixie sighed as she yelled out over the entire department.
Hey! Who has my stuff?
The 5 R&D arcanists looked up, but it was the one at the very back who waved her hand. To Linnet's delight, it was Alvinia. At first Alvinia waved kind of dismissively. Her demeanor changed once she locked gazes with Linnet, and a small smile appeared on the arcanist's face. Nixie led the way down the stairs and through the corridors between the glass walls, and Linnet was a step behind her. Alvinia met them in the middle of her space.
Hey there! How's it going? On another mission?
Yeah, I'm still in training. Today I'm helping out Nixie.
Oh. So you two already know each other.
Yes! I got some magical tech from Alvinia during my first mission with Alfreda.
Well, then we can split up and get a jump start. You stay here and get the schematics and the apps we're supposed to use, and the server. I'll go out and secure our mission HQ as well as check in on that kiosk we're going to use. Later.
Without allowing room for discussion or questions, Nixie just turned around and walked away. Linnet and Alvinia just watched her leave.
Well, there she goes. I hope the server isn't too heavy.
Oh, don't hold it against Nixie. She's always been that way ever since she started at the Citadel. Don't worry, even though she shows low motivation here, in the field, she's quite gifted and proficient. So, how are you settling into the job?
So great, super great, excellently wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, that good so far, huh? Let me guess. Cyrene?
Oh, Cyrene is such a bitch.
Yes, that is the general consensus from most people who work here. Luckily, I never have to deal with her. My boss does, and I sort of get the residual frustration, but I don't really mind. So long as they give me my space to play in, I'm pretty content. I'm sorry that you're not having the best experience. What happened? And remember, no one can hear us, so you can just let loose.
Okay, well, when Alfreda and I delivered our post-mission report, Cyrene was so mean. She criticized us for failing and said we should have been more prepared for the Sparkle Guardians, but I didn't know anything about them until they were shooting lightning and water at me. And poor Alfreda didn't have time to give me the rundown at the start of the mission. I didn't even get to see the mission briefing until we had downtime to wait for the potion to mix with the water supply. Had I been given a fair chance to prepare, I would have done much better.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have.
And today, she had her receptionist give me the mission briefing folder with the sticky note on it. See? It says, "Here's the mission briefing, don't fail this time."
Alvinia placed a hand on Linnet's shoulder and gave her a tender squeeze.
I'm sure this won't make you feel any better, but Cyrene is supposedly that way with everyone. It's not exactly personal, she's just a terrible boss. I'm sure you're going to do fine.
Thanks a lot. So, what fantastic technology do you have for me this time?
I'm glad you asked. Follow me.
Elvinia led Linnet over to one of the tables against the far wall. Several technological devices rested on the table's surface. A couple of the devices were different brands of human mobile phones, while the other technologies were what the humans called tablets. Elvinia gestured toward them by waving her hand over them.
So, the R&D department has been tasked with conducting research on what these younger humans have been interested in lately. And by R&D, I mean me. The head of the department took me off the potions project and had me start on this. To be honest, I'm quite glad, as I had to be on potions for 2 months. I hope not to have another project like that for the next 8 months at least.
So then, apps?
Yep. Humans of all ages love playing mindless app games. Not only that, a lot of younger to middle-aged humans love doing social media apps. We had to do some major convincing of the old ogress to allow us to do both kinds of apps. We have prepared an app game and a short video creating app. Now, when the apps are downloaded into mobile devices, it'll do something extra special to them.
Oh, really? What sort of something extra special?
I engineered the apps to magically transform the mobile devices into Anam Energy extractors. While the humans play the app game or use the social media app, Anam Energy is subtly and slowly drained from their eyes and their hands. I made sure to make it so subtle that the Sparkle Guardians won't easily detect the plot.
Linnet arched an eyebrow and at the same time beamed an amused grin at Elvinia.
What? Why are you looking at me like that?
What was that? You said Sparkle Guardians like they were a... Oh my goddess. Are you fangirling over them?
No. Maybe.
Maybe. But there are enemies.
I know there are enemies. Oh, but I can't help it. These three are so adorable. I mean, the way Sparkle Guardian Zeus acts so cool and charming, and how Sparkle Guardian Poseidon always acts super macho. And Sparkle Guardian Hades, he's so goth. I can't help it.
Wait. They have actual names. I was just calling them yellow, blue, and black.
Oh my gosh, yes! Okay, apparently in this world, they're modeled after some pagan gods. Okay, let me give you the rundown. Sparkle Guardian Zeus is the one in yellow, the sort of leader of the group. They have the power of lightning, and they throw their javelin to create lightning bolts. Boom. Then there's Sparkle Guardian Poseidon, who has the power of water. He has the Triton, and he can spray highly pressurized water from the tip. Psh. And then there's my favorite, Sparkle Guardian Hades. He's the one in black. He wears the helmet and can turn invisible. Whoosh! He only turns invisible when he lowers the visor on the helmet. Also, he's the toughest of the three. The man doesn't die, no matter what you throw at him. He's been stabbed in the neck, shot, and he's been knocked off a building.
I thought you said you'd never met them before. And you said they when you referred to Zeus. Why?
Oh, I haven't met them. I've read the mission reports, deployed secret surveillance orbs to watch all the missions that take place. And I've tapped into human news networks and websites to gain information about them. And regarding Zeus, they, them is their preferred pronouns.
Oh, okay. I'll be sure to remember that. Do you have a crush on Sparkle Guardian Hades?
A crush? No. You misunderstand. I can trust you, right?
Of course.
Yes, I'm totally a fangirl when it comes to them. And I did say that I found them adorable. But the thing is, I kind of write yaoi fanfiction about them and then place it on the human internet forums for people to read.
What?
The humans love my fanfics. They always get lots of follows, comments, and shares. It's actually really inspiring. My favorite matchup is between Poseidon and Hades. Oh, OTP.
Okay, so you're writing fan stories about them. But what is yaoi?
Oh, ask me about it sometime. Anyway, let me show you the 2 apps, and then I'll give you the server. By the way, for convenience, it shrinks down into a super light and easily carryable handheld. But it opens up to a fairly large piece of equipment. No need to worry about weight.
Great! I can't wait to see the apps.
I got in. I actually got accepted.
Nicholas traced the words of the letter once more, and yet no matter how many times he read the lines on the page, he couldn't believe it. You have been accepted into the Thanatos University doctoral program for gemology. With full funding. Congratulations. Nicholas's insides quaked wildly as he slowly folded up the letter and placed it back in the envelope. He had received the letter 3 days ago, but he couldn't bring himself to open it until now. He was almost certain that it was a rejection letter, as getting into the top school for his field, gemology, or the study of cutting and valuing gems, was a distant dream. The program at Thanatos University had special emphasis on geological survey as well, which is what sparked Nicholas's interests. Nicholas was a dark-skinned man of average size and body type. He had a pair of brown eyes and short black hair that at the moment was overdue for a trim. He wore a tan pair of slacks, a blue polo shirt, and a pair of loafers. Nicholas folded the envelope and placed it in his back pocket. The last thing he wanted was for Tyler or Frankie to see it. It would raise too many questions. Questions related to whether or not he was going, and what that would mean for the Sparkle Guardians. He didn't like the idea of leaving his 2 best friends. But at the same time, this was an opportunity to attend the school of his dreams with full funding. Nicholas sat at the bar of a local restaurant called Anthony's. Anthony's was a great little spot that served alcohol and had some great lunch and dinner specials. Nicholas didn't really drink, but he loved the cheesesteak. He had been there, waiting for his 2 best friends, for about 15 minutes. Nicholas was a little early, and in fact he always showed up early. It was lunchtime, and the crowd wasn't too bad today. Whenever Nicholas, Tyler, and Frankie met to socialize, or to have Sparkle Guardian meetings, they would choose a booth at the back of the restaurant.
I told you he'd be early. Nikki always beats us here.
Nicholas turned around on his bar stool and beheld the pair of individuals who approached him. Tyler was a tall and well-built guy with large biceps, developed pecs, and visible abs. In high school, he had been a part of the swim team, the wrestling team, and the football team. He had a shaved head, a pair of blonde eyebrows, and a set of emerald green eyes. Of the 3 of them, Tyler was the tallest. He wore a sleeveless light blue t-shirt, a pair of tan shorts, and a pair of brown sandals. Frankie was the shortest, and they were also the most charming. Their hair was shoulder length and colored wheat golden. To be honest, Nicholas couldn't remember if that was Frankie's original color or if they dyed it. They had hazel eyes. Frankie wore a cerulean-colored t-shirt, a pair of white pants, and a pair of nice loafers.
Hey, we didn't keep you waiting too long, did we?
Oh, no, it's fine. I was just, people watching. So, how were your days?
Nicholas stood up and led the trio to one of the booths in the back.
I can't believe this weekend's practically over. I hate Mondays.
I don't mind Mondays that much.
The trio sat in the booth, with Tyler sitting beside Nicholas on one side, and Frankie on the other, alone.
Yeah. Well, that's because you actually like your job. I freaking hate insurance sales. My boss is always yelling at me for my long call times. Ah! How the hell am I supposed to close the deal within 15 minutes? It's bullcrap.
I don't envy you at all, man. Have you ever considered, I don't know, doing something else?
No industry is going to pay me what I make with Apollo Heath, but The stress is killing me, man. I'm always under the gun to meet my monthly quotas, and every damned day is a hustle.
I can understand that. I'm lucky enough to not be on commission like you. We're still slammed with project deadline after deadline. Don't get me wrong, I like my office, and the projects we work on are pretty cool. But it's just so much work. I didn't think I was gonna be this busy when I graduated.
One day, Nikki, you'll find out exactly what we're going through.
And what's that supposed to mean? You don't think my days aren't stressful?
How hard could it be? You grade freshman tests while you study for your own. I wish I could still be in school and get paid to do it.
You're the one who chose a marketing sales degree.
I was a student athlete and I had to focus on my sport. At the time, sales marketing seemed like an easy major.
Sometimes I wish I had chosen an easier major. My bachelor's wasn't that bad, but this master's is whooping me. At least it's in something I'm interested in, though, so there's that.
You graduate at the end of the semester, right? Do you know what you're going to do?
A swift and angry coat of acid covered Nicholas's heart, no doubt bubbling up from his stomach. He simply shrugged.
Oh, I don't know. I have a bachelor's degree in geology, and my master's will be in mineralogy. I could try and find a good job with one of the local jewelry manufacturers or distributors. I haven't decided yet.
Okay, enough about careers. Let's talk about something more interesting.
Tyler looked around for a moment before he gave Nicholas and Frankie a wide smile.
So, Frankie, how's it going with you and Dana?
Can we please not? You know how I feel about that whole thing. I've tried to talk to her multiple times, but she's just so...
Bruh, I don't get it. Like, seriously. It's always been that way with you, ever since middle school.
Let's see if I have an accurate list. There was Callista in 8th grade, then Leda in 9th, Sameli and Demetria in 10th, and Antiope in senior year.
Don't forget Amanda, that foreign exchange student from Europe. She was the prominent pursuer in 11th grade.
Not to mention all the interested would-be lovers in college. You are blessed by the gods, my friend.
More like cursed.
Yeah, I could see why you'd see it that way, bruh. I wish I could take your curse from you. I would be drowning in
Nicholas cleared his throat and gestured over Frankie's shoulder toward the waitress coming toward them. A lithe young woman, perhaps a couple of years younger than the three of them, practically skipped up to their table. Her name tag said Dana. Dana was dressed in a server uniform as she waited tables while working her way through college. She was a gifted and brilliant scholar, studying accounting and being at the top of her class. If Nicholas remembered right, she was going to graduate with a bachelor's at the end of the semester. Dana had light, long brown hair with tints of red in it, and a pair of warm brown eyes. She was incredibly beautiful, and most definitely sought after by tons of her peers. After all, she had the looks, the brains, and the most charming personality. Too bad for her, she was only interested in Frankie. Dana stopped at the end of the table.
Hey, you three. Sorry I didn't come over sooner. I had to close out a large party of 10. Do you all want the usual?
Yeah, but I'm feeling extra manly. Can you make my steak rare today?
I'll take my usual, please.
Okay, great. So we have a rare T-bone steak with a loaded baked potato and a dark beer, and a cheesesteak sandwich with an extra order fries and an apple juice. Hey, Frankie, do you want the usual, or would you like something special today?
Yeah, Frankie. Do you want something special today?
My usual is fine. Thanks a lot, Dana.
Sure thing, sweetie. I'll be back with your drinks.
As soon as Dana was out of earshot, Frankie shook their head.
Sometimes I really hate you two.
Don't say that. You love us, and you'd be lost without us around.
Both things can be true.
Even though Nicholas smiled along with his friends, his heart continued to throb.
Hello, Nixie? Are you here?
Linnet stood in the open expanse of a vacant mechanic's garage. There were a pair of large raisable garage doors, but dirt or dust covered the little windows in the front. A couple of old, rusted vehicle lifts were still installed in place. Nixie walked into the garage, presumably from the offices connected to it.
Hey, you can follow me in here.
She gestured for Linnet to follow, and so she did. Nixie led her to the lobby of the mechanic's office. Thick sheets of plywood covered the doors and windows. Nixie pointed toward one particular office, with a door that had faded lettering on the front. The words manager once prominently covered the door's exterior, but now they were a barely visible reminder of the room's importance.
Just set up the server in that room, somewhere against the wall, and then we'll go to the kiosk.
Nixie took a long drag off her vape pen, and then sent out a cloud of gray smoke. Strange enough, it smelled like rain.
So, did that R&D chick show you how to use the apps?
Elvinia. Her name is Elvinia. And yes, she did. She also gave me a human appearance brooch.
Ah, NHAP. Nice. I'll put mine out too. Have you ever taken a human form before?
Oh, no. I've not done it yet. Elvinia tried to explain it to me. I guess the artifact reads my mind and then allows me to take the form of what I thought I would look like?
Yep. Set up the server and we'll go. When we get there, I'll have you play the apps on the big screen.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Sure. I mean, Elvinia showed you how to use the apps, right? I have no idea, so I would be a poor person to demonstrate. As you do that, I'll find out the crowd's interest.
Linnet went into the office and placed the fully formed server against the wall, just left of the door. A small computer terminal also appeared beside the server. As per Elvinia's explanation, the computer would run the app program, then store the Anam energy in the server. In turn, the server would create orbs, much like the LDAE. When Linnet came back out, she stopped and gaped in surprise. A human stood in the office, and a sudden sense of fright danced in Linnet's spine. The woman was perhaps average height for a human woman, and looked exactly like Nixie, except was bigger, normal human ears, and a completely different outfit on. The human Nixie wore a cute light purple skirt, a pair of heeled sandals, and a white short-sleeved blouse.
Ugh, I hate wearing stuff like this. Come on, and activate your HAP, and remember to think of something trendy, as you're going to be the customer.
Linnet fastened the brooch to the front of her dress, and then she willed magic into it. There was a magical flash of light, and then she blinked several times. When she glanced down, she noticed how much she had changed. Her body had been transformed into that of a human, much like Nixie. Her body type was still about the same, only now it was the size of a human woman. Linnet wore a pair of brown open-toed sandals, a pair of stone-washed jeans, and a white halter top.
Huh. That's actually a cute outfit. Let's go.
Nixie reached out and gestured for Linnet's hand. As soon as Linnet took it, Nixie activated her teleporter crystal, and then they were engulfed in a nimbus of energy. As soon as it faded, Linnet and Nixie stood in a back alleyway of some large building. There wasn't anyone else around, which was probably quite fortunate for the both of them.
Where are we?
We're at the mall. We're gonna be stationed at one of the kiosks on the first floor. Once we get inside, I'm gonna have to act more, peppy. So, try not to draw attention to it. In fact, I'll go in and set up. And in about 10 minutes, you can come find me and ask me what I'm selling. We'll go from there.
Nixie led Linnet out of the alleyways and toward the front entrance of the mall. They parted ways, and Linnet leaned against a small brick wall running beside the sidewalk, beside the street. On the other side of the wall was a long row of tall pine trees. As Linnet leaned there, she watched the humans walk into and out of the mall. In turn, they also regarded her with curiosity. A few of the guys even gave her "come to daddy" facial expressions, and a couple of them approached her. She politely explained that she was waiting for someone, and when pressed, she lied and said it was her boyfriend. Those sort of relationships and such were usually human endeavors, although Nymphians could have them. However, when they did, they only had them with other Nymphians, and Linnet hadn't heard of any of her people getting together with humans. Thank the light that the eager human males left her alone. After about 10 minutes, Linnet walked inside the mall. It was fairly busy inside, with humans going into many of the shops on the first floor. Many of them were wrapped up in their own conversations, and so they didn't pay her any heed, which was fine by her. Linnet found Nixie at a little kiosk with a large TV screen resting on a large counter. Nixie was talking to a couple, and she was explaining about the apps. Linnet came in on the tail end of their conversation. Nixie was smiling broadly, and her mannerisms were so energetic and actually pleasing to see.
And then you can send your videos to your friends and post them on social media. Do you want to give one of our apps a try?
I'm not sure. I'm not very good at games, and I'd be too shy to do something in public.
I totally understand. Hey, you there, in those cute jeans. Would you like to try one of our apps? We have 2 great ones.
Nixie pointed directly at Linnet, and her smile was so inviting. It was definitely different than the previous Nixie expressions she had seen. Linnet smiled and then approached the kiosk.
Sure. What kind of apps do you have?
How about trying our game app called Magical Defender Erica? Go ahead and try on this test mobile device.
Nixie handed Linnet a mobile device that looked exactly like the kinds of tech that young humans would use. Linnet started the app on the phone, and the image on the mobile device showed on the big screen. A magical girl showed up on the title screen, and the words Magical Defender Erica spread across the screen. Linnet started a new game. Suddenly, an animated cutscene started to play. The magical girl on the front title screen appeared in the center of the screen in a flash, and she pointed toward the audience. This case being Linnet and the humans who might be watching behind her.
OMG! I'm so happy you're here! The evil titans have taken over my high school, and I have to save my friends! I can't do it alone. I need your help!
The cutscene ended, and then it showed a 2D image of a monster on a screen. The numbers 140 over 140 were beside the monster. At the bottom of the screen, there was a little opened box space with various little shapes and colors. The shapes and colors were the following: blue diamonds, green circles, red squares, and yellow triangles. A message appeared on the screen saying, match 3 of the same color to do a special attack. A second passed, and the word start flashed on the screen. The little app game had full sound effects and background music. The monster growled and roared. A timer appeared at the top left corner, and it counted down from 1 minute 30 seconds. A slight panic flared in Linnet's stomach, and she started touching the little shapes. Whenever she did, she was able to touch another one and switch their positions. When she matched 3 yellow triangles, a lightning bolt zapped out and hit the monster.
Yes! Lightning bolt!
The monster howled in pain. Linnet matched 3 blue diamonds, and at the same time allowed for 3 green circles to be matched as well. Both snowflakes and leaf projectiles shot forth against the monster.
Combination attack! Yes! Way to go!
Linnet matched 3 red squares, and a ton of fire hit the monster.
Eat fire, you big meanie!
The monster began to dissolve, and Magical Girl Defender Erica appeared on the screen.
You did it! We defeated the monster! Huh, I'm so happy! We're going to save my friends!
Linnet continued to play through the app, fighting various monsters and unlocking more animated and well-detailed cutscenes. Whenever she got stuck, someone from behind her would point out a match she had not seen. When Linnet looked back, a sudden heavy pulse started throbbing in her. Dozens of humans were behind her, watching the screen, and there were humans watching from the upper floors.
Oh no! It's Get ready. This is going to be a boss fight.
The boss fight was more difficult than the previous stages. She was allowed 3 minutes to play, but the boss had over 1,000 hit points. In the end, Linnet couldn't defeat the boss in time. A new cutscene activated.
It's okay. You did your best. Level up, unlock more spells, and let's try again, okay?
Nixie walked in front of Linnet and addressed the massive human crowd.
With Magical Defender Erica, you can earn experience after you play each level, and you can unlock different spells to use against bosses and monsters. You can choose what kind of color to specialize in and unlock different shapes for the colors to do powerful spells. Would you like to try our video making app?
A trio of girls raised their hand, and they took Linnet's place. Linnet beamed a quick smile at Nixie, who actually returned her smile, and even gave Linnet a wink. So far, the plan was working.
Another hard-ass day. Ugh.
Tyler closed the front door to his townhome with more than the necessary force. He wasn't trying to be a bad neighbor, but today had been another nightmare and a long series of foul and horrid days. Stress pressed in on the sides of his head as he took heavy steps toward his couch. Sunset was already painting the land outside in an orange hue, and his living room was getting darker. Pressure started to build up behind his eyes, and Tyler flopped down upon the softness of his couch. He pulled out his phone, and he began his daily ritual to mindlessly thumb through social media in hopes to begin the unwinding process. Today had been especially grueling as his supervisor berated his whole department over their less than ideal numbers. Each and every day seemed to get worse and worse with how bitter the upper management treated him and all the other insurance sales reps. Too bad Tyler wasn't qualified for anything else, or at least that's how he felt. Tyler wasn't as smart as Nicholas, nor was he naturally charismatic as Frankie. Why hadn't he gone into athletic training? That would have been a more natural career course than sales. Back in his college days, immature Tyler just wanted an easy career track so he could party with his friends. Well, of all the people he had considered friends, the only ones who kept in contact with him were the true blue Sparkle Guardian allies he had fought with, bled with, and nearly died with. Too bad he couldn't get paid to be a Sparkle Guardian. Tyler loved kicking those dumb Nymphians' asses, and being Sparkle Guardian Poseidon gave him a brief reprieve from having to face his greatest nemesis, an uncertain future. Whenever he thought about his future, where he was going, or what he could be doing, a great deal of sourness started to flare up inside him like persistent acid reflux. Something on his social media page caught his eye. It was a banner for a game of some kind, and it had a ton of hearts, likes, and laughing comments. Tyler clicked on the comments section of the game. App game ads showed up all the time, and you could always tell whether or not the game was trash by the comments people posted. I can't believe this game is free. Beautiful game, fantastic voice acting, cutscenes and gameplay. I loved the leveling system. Magical Defender Erica is my waifu. Tyler chuckled for a moment and then gave the game in question, titled Magical Defender Erica, a closer review. It was some kind of super easy and perhaps addictive matching game. He had seen a bunch of them in the past, in many different versions, but this game seemed kind of cool. It had a magical girl as the mascot, and since he was a magical boy, or rather, a magical man, it touched a few chords with him.
Screw it, why not? It's free.
Tyler downloaded the app on his phone, and then he started a new game. Suddenly, an animated cutscene started to play. The magical girl on the front title screen appeared in the center of the screen in a flash, and she pointed toward Tyler.
OMG! I'm so happy you're here! The evil titans have taken over my high school, and I have to save my friends! I can't do it alone. I need your help.
The cutscene ended, and then it showed a 2D image of a monster on the screen. The numbers 140 over 140 were beside the monster. At the bottom of the screen, there was a little opened box space with various little shapes. The shapes and colors were the following: blue diamonds, green circles, red squares, and yellow triangles. A message appeared on the screen saying match 3 of the same color to do a special attack. A second passed, and the word start flashed on the screen. Tyler started playing through it, and the game was easy enough. When he matched 3 colors, a special attack would occur, and Magical Defender Erica would announce what the attack name was.
Snowflake Rush! Hi-ya!
Yeah, suck on snowflakes, you punk ass!
Combination attack! Yes! Way to go!
Oh yeah, who's the man? Right here, baby!
Eat fire, you big meanie!
I am going to burn your ass!
You did it! We defeated the monster! Huh, I'm so happy! We're going to save my friends!
The game was easy enough. When Tyler beat levels, he gained experience, and then he leveled up his spells, skills, and other aspects of the game. Time seemed to slip by, and eventually he let out a wide yawn. His phone displayed a message saying, power below 10%. That couldn't be right. He had charged his phone while he was driving home, and it should...
Holy shit, it's 2:30! No way.
Sure enough, Tyler had sat there all night, playing the game. His eyes were heavy, and they actually kind of hurt. In fact, his hands also felt a little strange, and they were kind of hot, although that might have been due to holding the phone for so long. Tyler's body resonated with stiffness, and also very subtle degrees of anguish. He must have been more tired than he thought. He turned off the light and started to move upstairs. Damn, he was exhausted, and moving took way more energy than he anticipated. Then again, he didn't really have dinner, so his body didn't have any replacement fuel in it. Tyler glanced down at his phone, and his blood started to run a little colder. His phone was giving off a faint bluish-white energy, and it was so subtle that he had missed it in the light. Now, anyone else might have dismissed it to hysterical weariness, but Tyler was not a normal person. His mouth went dry, and he looked on his phone. He went to his contacts and hit call on Frankie's name. The phone rang 3 times before Frankie picked up.
Huh? Tyler? Is everything okay? It's late.
Come over now. I'm in trouble, please. It's the Nymphians.
Wow, I can't believe we were able to collect this much Anam energy.
We certainly have had a lot of successes, haven't we? When I worked with Alfreda, she mentioned that since the Sparkle Guardians always show up to stop our plans, it's more of a matter of collecting as much Anam energy as we can, rather than beating them. What do you think?
Nixie and Linnet had just finished loading 100 small Anam spheres into Linnet's infinity bag, and they sat against the wall in the same room as the server. A small smile had appeared on Nixie's face, and while it was not as wide as the one she beamed at the humans, this one was much more authentic. She simply shrugged, and the smile remained. She took a long drag off her vape pen, and then blew it away from Linnet.
I guess. I mean, I don't know if I can say we never win, but I will say that the Sparkle Guardians are formidable. Oh, sure, there are cases when we being the operatives as a whole, are unable to get any Anam, or we lose our entire harvest we've accumulated. When that happens, Serene comes down on us so hard. It sucks. There are other times when we return with something and Serene is a bitch during those mission debriefings because she thinks we should be able to take the Sparkle Dorks down. But whatever. So long as you come back with something, all that bullcrap she talks is just an act, lip service, you know?
So, what got you into this field anyway? Did you always want to work in Anam Energy?
Well, to be honest,
A loud explosion rocked the building, coming from the lobby just outside the room they sat in.
Nymphians! Come out and face us! How dare you take advantage of innocent people's interest in stress-relieving apps! The world can be so intense with all its obligations and requirements, and people use those apps as refuge from their tensions!
We are going to stop you from harvesting any more of your dreaded Anam energy from others. Come out and fight!
Both Linnet and Nixie peeked out of the room. Into the expanse of the lobby, a massive hole had been created where the front door was, and two of the Sparkle Guardians, Zeus, the yellow one, and Hades, the black one, stood in the entry. As soon as their eyes met, Sparkle Guardian Zeus held up their javelin. It crackled with magical lightning. They tossed it a moment later. Nixie pulled Linnet into the room just in time to avoid the lightning bolt's tip. The javelin collided with the back wall, and static power crawled along the wall. The wall caved in on itself, and another small hole had been created where it struck. Nixie reached into her side pouch and then pulled out a black vial. She pulled a similar cartridge from her vape pen and then placed the black vial inside the pen. Another lightning bolt struck the doorframe, and once more lightning zapped into the wall. One of the slender tendrils nearly touched Linnet's skin, and her hair started to stand on end. Nixie inhaled, and then blew out thick black smoke from her lips. It smelled like licorice, and it glowed with a slight otherworldly glimmer. The smoke grew extensively and filled the room with faint black smoke that surprisingly didn't impair Linnet's ability to breathe. The smoke billowed out into the outer area.
Oh crap, it's the vape one. What does black do again? Is that the paralysis smoke or the hallucinogenic one?
I don't know. I can't see them.
Nixie was already switching her black vial with a vibrant orange one. She pulled Linnet in close and then whispered into her ear.
we have to leave the server behind. There's no time to deactivate it. Stay in the black smoke as long as you can. We have to get away.
Suddenly, a pair of arms reached out and they grabbed Linnet's and Nixie's arms. Sparkle Guardian Hades had grabbed Nixie's arm that held the vape pen.
I got you! You're not going anywhere!
Linnet stepped forward and punched the taller human in the throat. That was one of the few lessons that Linnet's older sister, Latifah, had advised her on that she actually remembered. Though she was not as strong as a human, Linnet still gave some force behind her little fist. It certainly caught the Sparkle Guardian by surprise, and he gagged. The black smoke had already started to dissipate. Nixie and Linnet wiggled out of the man's grasp, and they moved out of the office. Another swift lightning bolt sailed between them, going into the office. The whoosh from the enchanted javelin swept away some of the smoke.
There you are!
They raised their hand up as the javelin appeared back in their hands. The smoke created from Nixie's vape pen had all but faded away. Nixie brought up the vape pen up to her lips and inhaled. Perhaps she thought she could have exhaled quicker, but Sparkle Guardian Zeus had already tossed the javelin toward Nixie. Linnet barreled into her at the last moment, ensuring they were both out of the way. The javelin struck the wall and the wall crumbled. The server was against that wall and started to spark. Slowly, Sparkle Guardian Hades stumbled out of the office. A pained expression was on his face. Linnet and Nixie got to their feet as the javelin reappeared in Sparkle Guardian Zeus's hand. This time, however, Nixie was the faster one. She exhaled, and when she did, a wide 15-foot cone of orange fire danced past Nixie's lips. Sparkle Guardian Zeus jumped outside as the flames coated the walls, the floor, and the doorframe hole where they once stood. Sparkle Guardian Hades jumped toward them from the other side, but Linnet and Nixie stepped out of the way of his swift haymaker punches. Linnet stepped up closer to the large human and inhaled. Linnet's voice resonated with innate magic, and the echo rippling from her lips assaulted Sparkle Guardian Hades' face. He closed his eyes tightly, and he yelled out in pain. His hands went to his ears. Nixie grabbed Linnet's hand as Sparkle Guardian Hades fell to the ground. The fire was starting to spread throughout the building. Nixie led Linnet into the garage bay area, towards the back of the larger area, where one of the garage doors was still closed. Nixie gripped Linnet's hands tighter, and then activated the teleportation crystal in her pocket. The last thing Linnet saw of the garage was a still-dazed Sparkle Guardian Hades, stumbling into the mechanic's bay, perhaps trying to find a way out. The light was intense for only a moment, and then Nixie and Linnet stood in the teleportation room.
I can't believe it. We escaped. That was a good punch. And a great scream.
Thanks. You did pretty great too.